With just a few minutes until departure, we have a question on Twitter from BreezyGirl248. You can submit your questions using the hashtag AskNASA. She wants to know what the food supply on the space station looks like. This Dragon itself arrived with several special food products, including some coffee, candy, some cheese, and even some fresh food, which is especially special for the astronauts, including oranges, apples, grapefruits, and cherry tomatoes, even some fresh garlic.
Station Houston, we're about 1 minute away. ISS thrusters are inhibited. Proceeding with release. Release commanded.
As you heard, the release window is open and the release command has been sent to the Canadarm.
Snares open. Begin monitoring for drift out.
Snares on the latching end effector are open, and very shortly we'll see Dragon moving slowly away from the Canadarm2. And you can see that slow motion Dragon now drifting away. Release of Dragon occurring at 8:06 a.m. Eastern Central Time, as the International Space Station was flying 260 statute miles east of Vietnam.
Station on 2, pin has exited the way.
Houston copies. Proceeding to back away.
Copy.
Flight controllers here are now moving the Canadarm2 away from Dragon, as it is now free flying. Again, that release coming at 8:06 a.m. Central Time, as the space station was flying east of Vietnam.
Back away is in progress.
NASA astronaut Andrew Morgan standing by in the cupola module to monitor as the back away of the Canadarm2 is in progress. Next up for Dragon are those small departure burns, the first being 5 seconds long and changing Dragon's relative velocity to the station by 1/10 of a meter per second. We'll be looking for that at 8:10 a.m. Central Time.
Houston Station on 2, armed Dragon, distance approximately 1.5 meters.
Houston copies.
We'll be looking for that departure burn in just about a minute. Dragon now executing its first departure burn.
On 2, Dragon depart commanded.
Houston copies.
That first departure burn completed successfully. The next will be about 12 seconds long.
Backaway is complete, and Dragon's departure burn 1 is complete. Departure burn 2 in less than 1 minute. Monitor per step 5 of 1.602.
Copy, step 5.
All of the movements for SpaceX's Dragon and the Canadarm2 are very slow and deliberate while around the space station. And departure burn 2 is complete, changing the relative velocity another 1/20th of a meter per second.
Station Houston, departure burn 2 is complete. Departure burn 3 in approximately 7 minutes. Monitor per step 6 of 1.602.
Copy, clear, step 6.
With departure burns 1 and 2 complete, everything looking good for Dragon.
Station Houston, ISS thrusters are re-enabled.
Next milestone for Dragon will be departure burn 3, scheduled for 8:19 a.m. Central Time this morning. That burn will be about 22 seconds long and will change the relative velocity another 3 meters per second, speeding up Dragon's descent back to Earth today. We have a question about that from Jack Rion, who wants to know how long does it take Dragon to splash down from release. Today, Dragon was released at 8:06 a.m. Central Time, and it will approximately splash down around 1:50 p.m. Central Time in the Pacific Ocean. So we're looking at about 6 hours today from release to splashdown. Looking for departure burn 3 for Dragon in about 4 minutes. Just a few minutes away from that departure burn 3, we have a question from Mel Pitts with the hashtag AskNASA on Twitter. She wants to know if the solar arrays are folded and returned to be used again. The solar arrays are attached to the trunk of the Dragon, and those will actually burn up upon re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. The only portion that will return of Dragon is the capsule itself, bringing with it about 4,000 pounds of cargo and science and other hardware back to Earth. Radiation Rover asks if this is a farewell to the first-gen Dragon, and it is. Speaking of the solar arrays, they will actually be folded around the trunk of the Dragon capsule, moving toward the second-generation body of spacecraft. The Dragon used in the CRS-2 missions will resemble the Crew Dragon and will also automatically dock to the space station rather than require robotic operations. Departure burn 3 is now in progress. This burn is about 22 seconds long and moving Dragon out of the keep-out sphere and approach ellipsoid much faster, another 3 meters per second being added.
Station Houston, departure burn 3 is complete and Dragon is outside the keep-out sphere.
Copy all. That was the last time the ARM and Dragon will meet that way, so it's fun to watch.
Absolutely. I looked it up, and the first official CRS-1 Dragon mission was October 2012 in Expedition 33, met by Sonny Yuri Inaki. And so thanks go out to our hardworking partners at SpaceX at the end of this first of many chapters together.
Copy and concur. Congratulations to the SpaceX team and teams all around the world for a successful Dragon mission over the last month and wrapping up Expedition 62. Looking forward to the Soyuz arrival day.
As are we. It'll be nice to get some more folks up there with you.
If you have anything else from me, I'll get into my cleanup steps here and my timeline.
So we are outside the keep-out sphere, but not quite outside the approach ellipsoid, so if you could continue monitoring, and we'll release you soon.
Copy.
That was capsule communicator Brandon Lloyd speaking with NASA astronaut Andrew Morgan aboard the International Space Station, commemorating the end of the CRS-1 contract for the SpaceX team. Dragon is now outside the keep-out sphere, that 200-meter radius around the International Space Station, and it's making its way toward the approach ellipsoid, that 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 2 kilometer ellipsoid around station. Obviously, this graphic not to scale, but that helps the team monitor the spacecraft as they arrive and depart. The International Space Station and Dragon now flying about 268 statute miles over the Tasman Sea. Dragon completed its 3 small departure burns successfully, and the next major burn for Dragon will be the deorbit burn, scheduled to occur at 12:58 p.m. Central Time today and adding 111 meters per second velocity to the vehicle. We've got a couple of Ask NASA questions on Twitter, one from Simon asking if we will be broadcasting the splashdown later today. We will not, and Michael Burton, we will not be broadcasting the recovery either, but you can keep up with those updates on our blog at nasa.gov/station.
Dragon is now outside the approach ellipsoid and on a safe 24-hour free drift trajectory. So your go for your last 3 activities. Thanks for sleep shifting with Orbit 1 tonight.
It's my pleasure.
As you just heard Capcom Brandon Lloyd relaying to NASA astronaut Andrew Morgan, spacecraft is now outside of the approach ellipsoid. That means the joint operations between NASA and SpaceX have concluded. So full responsibility for the vehicle is handed back to the SpaceX flight control team in Hawthorne, California. Now that Dragon is outside of the approach ellipsoid, it is deemed 24 hours safe, meaning that if somehow control was lost of the vehicle, we know that it would be 24 hours safe from coming into any contact with the International Space Station. Dragon launched on March 6, 2020 and arrived on March 9th, and today we see SpaceX Dragon's 20th resupply mission and the end of the CRS-1 contract come to an end on April 7th, 2020, with an 8:06 a.m. Central Time release of the spacecraft as the space station was flying east of Vietnam. Dragon successfully completed its 3 small departure burns and made its way outside of the keep-out sphere as well as the approach ellipsoid, ending those joint operations between the NASA and SpaceX team. Next up for Dragon, it will complete its deorbit burn scheduled for 12:58 p.m. Central Time today. Later on, we'll see Dragon splashdown scheduled for 1:50 p.m. Central Time this afternoon, its last splashdown in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Long Beach, California. Later this week, we've got a busy week, next couple of weeks actually, for events for the International Space Station. And on April 9th, just 2 days from now, we will see the next launch of a crew to the International Space Station. That'll be at 2 a.m. Central Time, 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Soyuz MS-16 crew will begin Expedition 63. Crew members Chris Cassidy, Anatoly Ivanishin, and Ivan Wagner will join our 3 current orbiting crew members aboard the International Space Station. We hope you'll join us for that coverage beginning at 2 a.m. Central Time, 3 a.m. Eastern Time this Thursday, April 9th. That wraps up today's coverage for the SpaceX Dragon on its 20th resupply mission to the International Space Station, also coming to an end of the CRS-1 contract. We're looking forward to big things with the CRS-2 contract with SpaceX and with all of our upcoming events. This is Mission Control Houston.